Previously with the goats.
So the goats I'm going to be breeding are Phoebe and Maya.
This is Percy, he's a 3-year-old billy goat.
Are you supposed to do? So where do we begin? Now, Maya and Phoebe are very, very close to giving birth. Maya's due in about a week, but I think she'll be a few weeks after. And then Phoebe is due in about a week and a half, but I think she's going to give birth pretty much to that date, or at least a little bit earlier, because she's huge. She's a really big goat. Now, obviously that isn't the only indicator. Her udder's huge as well. It's really big. She's very uncomfortable and it's definitely starting to struggle to walk a bit as it gets to the end of that pregnancy. But Maya is just generally a small goat anyway, but her udder hasn't grown near as much as Phoebe, so she may just have a small one, but I think it may still be a few weeks. Now, I don't 100% know that Phoebe's going to give birth exactly in a week or exactly on her due date, but I think she's going to be very, very close just looking at the shape of her. Now, last October I started working on this field the girls are in now. It's a brand new field with completely new fencing, new posts, new gates, that sort of thing, and this was basically so they could be bred with the billy goat Percy away from Henry and Oscar, you can see in the background, and it just meant they had plenty of space without them getting in the way. And it just worked really well. Now, I want to give you a couple of updates on this because there's a couple of things that have changed, but also things that aren't going well or as I thought. Stay there. She's just done again. Phoebe? Oh, Phoebe's got too many babies to be doing that. This wasn't the original plan, but it just kind of works. So I'm still going to drill these two together. And I got some really long zip ties, so I'm just going to put a hole through here and just zip tie, zip tie, zip tie. And then at the bottom I have to do something slightly different. But we need these two in the field. I'm going to trim this off obviously, but this is like the idea. Now it's not secure down that end and we need to do something there, but you get the idea. It's going to be nice and tight. And then we've got to do something to block that up, but that's also going to strengthen that. And I think we're also going to attach it to the actual fence post as well. Right, the gate is done. If we step back, you can kind of see what I've done. I've put the bit across the bottom. It doesn't look the best down the bottom, but it will stop the baby goats getting out. But yeah, we've just basically zip tied that pallet onto the gate post and then used another one of those bits of wood and zip tied that onto the gate post and also the bit on the bottom. So this is the other gate Maya's going up to, and there's again another big gap at the bottom which I think a baby goat could fit through, and I don't really want to risk it. So all I need to patch up the bottom bit is basically just an 8-foot bit of wood that will just run across the bottom, similar to what we did on the other gate, and we'll just basically patch it up, right? There was this wire already on the gate when we installed it, so I'm thinking I'll probably just leave that there because that'll do the job, but you can see, hopefully you can see over there isn't any, so I might just put a bit of wood across that, but we'll see what happens. But we'll make sure we're going to do this by the end of the week for sure, because Phoebe will be soon to have her babies, if you can see how she's walking. But once we've done this gate, everything else in the field should be pretty much ready to go, which is very exciting. Now there is something normally across the bottom of the gate is like a very temporary solution, just a like long feed trough, which I mean does the job, but I don't want to risk anything with baby goats like climbing on it and then climbing through the gate, because the girls are fine. It's just the babies I don't want escaping, because I don't need them being eaten by like a cat or something, or just wandering off and the girls not knowing what to do or where they've gone. And I just don't need to lose a baby goat or two. Just quickly, also I will be replacing this straw box because there's a huge hole in the top from when I basically broke it doing up the shed roof, and then Phoebe broke it more and all the straw in there was ruined, and there's just like a third of the roof is basically missing now. And that's why it's on the side, so the goats can still get on it without hurting themselves. Now the last update for the field is actually the field itself and how well it's grown in, because there's been some kind of mixed results. So I've been splitting the field up into kind of 3 main areas of growth. Now from about here, there's kind of a line of growth. Everything that way is really well grown in, it's quite thick, quite luscious. The thing is the girls have been eating quite a lot of it, so it's kind of fairly low to the ground at the moment, so I might start feeding a bit more hay to let it grow again. Now the second part of the field is this left section here that used to be the big bramble bush. Now this is all basically just nettles. There's a bit of grass in there, but it's mostly nettles and weeds and stuff. And the goats do eat this, but it's not their favourite thing, and that's grown up pretty quickly. Now this was one of the areas I fertilised with like their goat poo, and it's grown in really well. There just hasn't been much growth in the field as a whole for them to eat, so they're just getting a bit impatient, I think. Now the third area is most of the back of the field, and it's all very dry. There isn't very much growth, and it's all very low to the ground, mainly because the girls just go through and don't really let it grow. They just chomp it, keep it right down low. I don't know how well this picks up on camera, and it would help if Phoebe wasn't in the way, but there's kind of like a line from about there. On the right it's very green, and then on the left it just kind of spreads into this very dry ground. Now we're getting a lot of rain, but it's just not doing anything. The whole like section of the field over here is very much the same, and it's a bit annoying because I was hoping we would get a lot of long growth similar to what we had down at the bottom, but like in here as well, but we just haven't yet. Now if we move on to the boys and their field, there's quite a drastic difference. The whole of this field's really lush and a lot of thick long grass. Both of the boys are doing a pretty good job at keeping it like a pretty even level, but especially around the back here by the trees, and that corner especially is like so overgrown and there's just so much grass. Sadly there isn't much else, because as the goats have been here for the past few years, they just basically eat anything that isn't the grass straight away. So it mostly is grass and they will go through and eat it, but it's just not their favorite thing. Nothing has really changed in this field except the goats, and by change I mean Henry's lost his winter fluff. He's starting to thin down a lot, and Oscar's very hairy, but I've been giving him some haircuts, so I want to show you that now. Here he is waiting for his haircut, lying down in the field. He doesn't know how drastic it's going to be. Yeah, all that stuff, all this, just this long hair is gone. It's going to be gone. He's going to be looking like a baby Oscar again. Here we are then. Are you ready, Oscar? Okay, I'll show you what I'm doing. So the goal is, Oscar, chill, head up. I've basically trimmed off all the knotted stuff around his legs, pretty much. Need to do around his bottom. But now, all the knotted stuff's off, so I'm just brushing him through, and then I'm going to trim this all back, because there's still a lot of hair, especially around his legs. Don't eat that, that's your hair. But Oscar, if we have a look at Oscar's other side, he's looking a bit trim now. It's not perfect, but it's a good start, hey? Hey? I was going to show you his haircut up close, but I think you get the full idea of how bad it is from the distance. I'm going to give it another go and kind of clean it up a bit more, but this is just basically to get rid of all the knotted hair, and it also stops him dragging around his bedding in the morning, because he gets so much straw stuck in like his trousers and his back legs, and it's just a bit unhelpful, but at least he's a bit cleaner now. Since then, I have given Oscar another little trim on this side. Basically, my goal for this year, excluding the baby goats, is to make Oscar look like he did when he was young. Basically, it was white, black, and then a bit of grey. I'm just going to chop off all of his brown, and I've been doing that a bit on this side. You can't really tell, and I mean, I am pretty bad at giving him haircuts. Like, there's like quite a drastic line there, but he's a lot more comfortable. His hair doesn't get knotted as much, and he's starting to look a bit less like Henry, which is good. You all right, Oscar? Oh gosh. He's just getting in the way. What are you doing, Oscar? But as a whole, both the boys are doing okay. They're eating well. They're still getting a bit of hay to kind of keep them busy, but nothing crazy and over the top. Now, the one issue I'm having at the moment is with the electric fencing, and it's just not holding a charge. There's just nothing. And Henry's got stuck a couple of times. He pushes up against it, and I really just don't need that. So I've tested both the batteries, obviously hold charge, they're fine. The system clicks like twice and then just dies. So I don't know if that's an issue with the system from the battery to the fence, or actually with the fence. So I'm going to go through, disassemble the whole battery system, and then test each individual section of the fencing, and we'll find out what our issue is, and then what I need to possibly replace, or what I need to redo or reorganize to make everything work and not have an issue. So this is quite an important one that I need to get done, so let's do it. Now at the moment, the whole system just sits out behind the back of the field. Here obviously got the battery, the thing that goes into the ground, and then that. To be honest, I'm not too familiar with what it all does. I just know you need to do it like that, and then it will work. And it does work. It's supposed to work. I'll unplug it even though there's nothing there. Actually, it doesn't matter. Right, so it's not live anymore, but it just doesn't seem to work. I just love watching Oscar go about doing his thing because he's always on his own. And somehow, how's he got hay in his hair? He's just crazy. He needs another brush. Now, I am planning on replacing all the electric fencing in this field for proper stock fencing in a few months' time, but I just need this to work at the moment. I'm going to clean this out of all the yuck that's there, like mud and stuff, just so it's properly, like, there's nothing getting in the way, because this is grim. So I've got 2 batteries for my fencing. I've got this one, which is fresh fresh out of a car. Like, this is an actual car battery. The other one's just for, like, a caravan or whatever, I don't know. I think that also doesn't help. There's a lot of water in there. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to sound like that, but how does water get in it if it's supposed to be, like, outside? Well, at least we know what the issue is. It's not with the batteries or the fence. It's just, like, the bit between the two. But I can get a new one of these. It's a bit late now to go out and get one, but I can get one tomorrow. And then we should be all good at keeping this guy safe again. I'm out here a bit later on now, and I've ordered a new section for the electric fencing between the battery and then the actual fence itself, and then that will fix basically, I think, all our issues we're having with the boys, which is just the one, the fencing. And we're going to give Oscar his haircut over the summer, make sure he looks cool, because I don't want him looking like Henry. I like all my goats being like different. I mean, I know Maya is very similar to Henry, and Maya and the boys are just all very similar, and Phoebe's a bit of a standout goat, but Oscar, when he was black and white and a bit grey, just so cool. But we'll see what happens. But I've got that gate patched up, and you should be all up to date, back in the loop with what's going on with the goats before they have their kids. So I'm very excited for that. So thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, do subscribe. We're very close to the babies, and I'll definitely keep you updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.